The Everett County Jail was written by William Whalen, an IWW organizer in Washington State. Although the song didn't appear in the Little Red Songbook until 1918, Archie Green says this prison song anticipated the tragic Everett massacre of 1916, by which I guess he means it was written beforehand. The Everett massacre took place on November 5, 1916, when the SS Verona, with over 200 IWW members on board, sailed into the port of Everett. They were met by an armed delegation led by Snohomish County Sheriff Don McCrae. The delegation consisted of armed deputies and members of the Everett Commercial Club. In a 1962 interview, John Miller, the last survivor of the Everett massacre, recalled this happening when the SS Verona sailed into port. Don McCrae was holding one hand high over his head. He turned to face the warehouse on the docks. He dropped his arm. A single shot was fired, then a volley. Was raising his hand to signal? The ship was tied to the dock. A momentary panic ensued amongst the men on the forward deck. They raced to the side of the ship closest to the dock. Many, it is not known how many, fell into the water. Only one was seen to get back on board. 5 members of the IWW were killed by gunshot wounds. Many more were wounded. There were 2 of the delegation on the dock who were also killed. Whether by their own fire or not is not certain, nor was it stated, as far as I know, whether they were killed by rifle or pistol bullets. One thing is certain: there were no rifles carried by members of the IWW. 5 men were killed, as John Miller states. I think another 20 or so were wounded, and around 12 were missing, having fallen off the ship and not seen again. And of course, subsequently, as so often happens, the authorities rounded up 74 members of the Industrial Workers of the World and jailed them on charges of murder. Now, for me, this song exemplifies the spirit of Wobblies in jail, because they were so often incarcerated en masse, and they would make life difficult for their jailers by holding noisy meetings and, of course, singing songs. In this song, beside Sheriff McCrae, the names Veach and Black are mentioned. They were 2 prosecuting attorneys who, of course, worked on behalf of the lumber industry. Here's the Everett County Jail.
In the prison cell we sit, are we broken-hearted knit? We're as happy and as cheerful as can be, for we know that every wob will be busy on the job till they swing the prison doors and set us free. Are you busy fellow workers? Are your shoulders to the wheel? Get together for the cause, and someday you'll make the laws. It's the only way to make the masters squeal. Though the living is not grand, mostly mush and coffee, and it's as good as we expected when we came. It's the way they treat the slave in this free land of the brave. There is no one but the working class to blame. Are you busy fellow workers? Are your shoulders to the wheel? Get together for the cause, and someday you'll make the laws. It's the only way to make the masters squeal. When McCrae and Veach and Black to the lumber yards go back, may they travel empty-handed as they came. May they file in their report that the wobs still hold the fort, that a rebel is an awful thing to tame. Are you busy fellow workers? Are your shoulders to the wheel? Get together for the cause, and someday you'll make the laws. It's the only way to make the master squeal. When the 99% that must work, it's evident, organizes in a union of its class, we will then get what we're worth. That'll be the bloomin' earth. Organize and help to bring the thing to pass. Are you busy fellow workers? Are your shoulders to the wheel? Get together for the cause, and someday you'll make the laws. It's the only way to make the master squeal.